topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hi, welcome to my show, Learning to Dance in the Rain. I'm your host, Shelby Wagner, and I'm author of a book with that same name. That's the basis for this podcast, talking about dealing with different crucial problems and moving on. A lot of us will avoid facing conflict, avoid dealing with those hard things, and sometimes it eats away at us, and it's much better to face them, deal with them, and move on. Today, our topic is self-love and what it is and why did the Greeks say it was so important. My guest is Pastor Carl Litchfield, and I welcome you, Carl. Would you please come on stage?
Oh.
Thank you.
Hi, Shelby. Good to see you again.
Yeah,
Good to be
good.
together.
Yeah, long time no see, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah, right.
Right. So what is self-love and why is it so important? Why should we embrace it, I wonder?
Well, first of all, let me just compliment you on your writing that you have in chapter 10 in your book, What is Love? I had in some of my experiences in our weekend times of renewal, we called Walk to Emmaus. We talked about 4 different kinds of love, and philios, which is the family love, and I can't remember all of them. Eros is the sexual love, and the one that was most important for us, talking from a Christian perspective, was God's agape love, love for everyone, and love for us always, and that sort of thing. And I thought that was the extent of the definitions of love from the Greek words, different words that the Greeks had developed for standing in for love. So what impressed me when I read your book, Shelby, was that you had more than the 4 that I knew. And so I had to sit down and buckle up because I was about ready to learn something here. I want to compliment you on that, though, on your thorough research. I do.
I thought it was very interesting, too, that the resource I was using had left off the 2 last ones about obsessive love or mania.
Oh, okay.
And also storge. Well, the storge was the love of parents for their children. But
right.
Yeah, don't you agree with me that it's much better communication if we had more words that define the different kinds of love?
Right. And in your chapter, you talked about asking different women friends of yours about what was their idea about falling in love and being in love, and was there a difference in that sort of thing? And their attempts, which I think I respect their attempts to make a distinction about the different kinds of love, like when it's a puppy love, when we are first have that sense of falling in love, and but as we age and mature and hang in there in that loving relationship, how that changes from that first kind of innocent love and the love that we feel, which is really more lust, physical passion, and that sort of thing, to come to a maturity of love. Really, when we say love all the time in English, we really need these different Greek words to help us understand the distinctions that we're trying to express. So,
Right. We just had a question about what the kinds of love are. So I'm going to quickly go through them. You mentioned the first four. The ones as I listed, eros, or sexual love, named after the god of love and fertility. The philatia, love, means no sexual attraction, just friendship. Ludus is a playful affection between casual lovers and children playing. Agape is the one that extends to all people. You recommend said about God loving his children, all of us. Pragma is the long-standing, mature love, realistic love that develops between two people over time. And we spent quite a bit of time talking about true love. Philatia, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is love of self, which the Greeks considered the healthiest form of love. And we're going to talk a little more about that in a few minutes. Then Aristotle also said there was a negative one, which is narcissism, which we're probably going to bring up a little bit later on too.
Okay.
Mania, which is the obsessive love, and it's an imbalance between the sexual love and the ludus one. It means being needy. And then there's the storge, that is the love of parents for the children. And the person brought up the fact that, hey, there is another one, which is unrequited love. And that's when you love someone that doesn't love you back.
I see. So, yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
I'm sorry.
No, I just said I hadn't even thought of that. So I'm glad someone brought that up.
Right. And when this person brought it up to me, he says, you're forgetting about if you're in love with someone that is not in love with you. Right. And I said, that's incorrect, because to me, in love with means somebody else is there. And they love
a mutual form of love.
To say you're in love with someone who doesn't love you back is kind of ridiculous, because you can't be in love with them unless they do love you back. That's the way
I agree. It's not a complete, full relationship unless it's a mutual kind of sharing. Now, you are extending your love to someone else with the hope and desire that they will also be offering their love to you in return.
Right.
And that's a mature love.
Also might be a good time to bring it up, the fact that you can love somebody and they not love you back. But I forgot where I was going. I forgot the idea.
Well, I think it goes to that. You mentioned the narcissist, the one who has an unhealthy love of self, where they love themselves beyond, above and beyond anybody else. And they don't care about anybody else. The only person they care about is themselves. They're all focused on their pleasures, their passions, and they don't have any conscience at all about what they are going to do to you to get what they want. And so that's
right. You feel guilty when you don't do what it is that they tell you to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. In my book, I wrote about the love of self. The Greeks considered it the healthiest form of love, because it encompasses the idea that if one loves himself or likes himself or herself, then they feel secure, and then you have a lot of plenty of love left over to give others. And in fact, I've heard over and over that you can't love other people unless you love yourself.
Right.
First. And
when I read that immediately, of course, here I am speaking as a Christian pastor, but it made me think about Jesus' teaching. I want to go to that passage in Mark chapter 12, when Jesus was challenged by one of the leaders of the faith, what was the greatest commandment? And Jesus' response was really the two greatest commandments, and both of them encompasses love. In chapter 12 of Mark, at reading verse 28, and going to verse 31, one of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating, noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer. The teacher of the law asked Jesus, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second commandment, most important commandment, is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment than these. When you read it in Matthew, Jesus goes on to say, all of the law and the prophets are fulfilled in these two commandments. But here's the caveat I think, when we hear this second commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. The love that you, the quality of the love that you have for yourself needs to be quite good. You really have to have a healthy, loving relationship for yourself so that you are offering someone of importance, yourself, to someone else when you are offering to love that other person. You're really giving yourself as a gift. The question is this gift valuable to you? Or are you kind of like the salesman who's not really convinced that they've got quite a good product? I don't suppose you'd like really to buy this thing. It's not really the best thing that's out on the market right now, but gee, that's all I got. So I'll hope you will take it from me. If we have a low opinion of ourselves, how can we be offering someone something of value, ourselves, to someone else? If we feel that, gosh, I'm not the best guy around, you probably don't want to get involved with a man like me. And let me just warn you, I got a terrible sense of humor, and I've been told I'm really boring. And so, but by the way, if you give me a chance, maybe we could work this out. I'm not so sure this guy's going to get many second dates. Beginning like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself? I think that's the first quality question we have to ask you. What is your true opinion about yourself? Are you someone of value? Are you giving someone something special when you offer your love and your care to someone else? I think that's important.
Right. That's very good explanation. I'm going to read one I found on the internet last night.
Oh, good. I'd love to hear that.
Self-love means that you accept yourself fully, treat yourself with kindness and respect, and nurture your growth and well-being. Self-love encompasses not only how you treat yourself, but also your thoughts and feelings about yourself. So when you conceptualize self-love, you can try to imagine what you would do for yourself, how you would talk to yourself, and how you would feel about yourself. That reflects love and concern.
I love that. I mean, I'm using that word, but
Yeah.
that's quite good.
When you love yourself, you have an overall positive view of yourself, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. Nobody is. That you think of yourself all the time. So it's like, and they explained it in here, that I love my son, for example.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I don't get angry with some of the things he does, or some of the opinions that he has that differ from mine. I might get upset about those and stew over him a little bit, but I still love him.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to do with ourselves too. I mean, we're going to get upset. We're going to be angry. Oh, why did I say that?
Right. What a foolish thing I've done.
A good thing to say, that how many times you think about that later on. But you have to accept the fact that you meant well. Hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as you're trying to extend understanding and acceptance to yourself, you're hoping your partner will do the same.
Right. And you know how you heard that statement I mentioned earlier, that you must love yourself first in order to love other people. Well,
Okay.
here it says in this particular, it says you have to know how to love others so you can know how to love yourself. And I thought
Well,
kind of reverse that gives a different spin on the whole.
it is. It sounds like a corollary to the first premise: love yourself so you can love others.
Right.
But if you're able to love others, then hopefully you're able to apply that same kind of gentle understanding and acceptance to yourself as well.
Right. Right.
You know, and it could be that I'm wounded from my youth. Maybe I was abused as a child. Maybe someone has gone through terrible upbringing, gone through neglect and that sort of thing. The healing, perhaps, that this person actually needs may very well come from someone who offers them love first. And they're beginning to wonder, well, what do you see in me? You know, I'm damaged goods. You know, I've gone through such terrible times in my life. You know, it could be that someone offering their love to this person, first of all, is the beginning of the healing that they can have so that they can discover the love that for themselves that this person is showing them that they are a valuable person, and they'll begin to believe in themselves too. I think the healing, if someone will love me first, I think that the healing that's necessary to begin to believe in myself comes from that, because someone chose to love me first. So it's very likely a healing process as well for someone who's been hurt and put down and criticized anyway.
I heard once where to erase a negative, something that's been said to you negatively that hurt your feelings, to
Right.
erase the concept, you need, oh golly, I can't remember, 12 or 15 positives.
I heard that too. When I was in, I was trained as a social worker. When I was in college, I heard similar kinds of things. We hear so many negative messages about ourselves. I think at that point, what I remember hearing in lectures in class was, if we are hearing continually negative messages about, for every negative message we hear, we have to hear seven
Seven is that the number? I forgot.
seven positive messages in return to bring healing, so that we begin to say, I'm not that rotten person they think I am. You know, I'm not going to listen to that anymore. I don't believe that that's true about myself, because look at this one person was critical of me. Look at what these 7 friends have said to me. I'm going to go with my 7 friends rather than my one critic.
And that's an important thing. I mean, if there is somebody, maybe your best friend, who always puts you down, it's better to make
You need a new
friend.
best friend.
Yeah, and leave that one. I know there was in my past life that the mother of 2 children that were same age as mine, and we got the kids together all the time and we became friends. But
Okay.
then it got to me where she was always negative. She was always taking things wrong. And I read that somewhere that maybe I needed to part ways with her for a while, you know, and nothing I could do could make that person be more positive.
I see.
I could offer my opinions, you know, that, hey, you know, maybe you should look at this in a different way. But after a while, it affected me and made me start thinking negatively.
Right.
And
They'll have a negative effect. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So I saw, what does self-love look like?
Okay.
And there are about 25 or 30 things here. One of them was saying you have a pretty well positive mindset.
Okay.
And say positive things about yourself or to yourself. Encouraging. Right. I've seen where if write down a goal and put it on your refrigerator, your mirror, or whatever, to help remind you to think positive about that, or to keep focusing on the positive.
Right.
So you forgive yourself when you mess up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think about meeting your own needs. I know a lot of people will put other people's needs first, your children, your husbands, whatever,
I was
and
going to
don't
say,
take
don't you
time.
think that that's something that women especially are susceptible to,
Yes,
the mothering instinct and caring for others and that sort of thing, putting others first above their own needs. And I honestly, just my opinion for what it's worth, but I think women are especially susceptible to that, putting others first rather than thinking of themselves and
hmm,
making sure that their own needs are met also.
right, right. And I've got a few ideas about that for a little bit later. Remind me if
Okay,
I forget.
good.
We had
Okay.
a couple of questions come up, and the latest one was, "Doesn't that feed your ego?"
Well, I hope
Well,
so. A
is it
healthy ego is a good thing. A healthy ego is a good thing.
so? What is the ego?
Well, it's your self-image, what you actually think about yourself. Who are you? What is your worth? What is your value? Do you hold yourself in high regard? Of course, the danger of this is you could turn into a braggart. You could be full of wrapped up in self pride and that sort of thing. You can become overbearing and that sort of. I think if you keep it a private matter, your report card, where you're standing, how you're doing today and that sort of thing, and you're always
Mhm.
looking for ways to reinforce this good feeling about yourself. If that's all privately done, I don't see, but if you start saying, well, uh, you ought to be paying attention to me because I'm smarter than you and I'm better than you and you should be listening to me, turning it into a put down on others, right? You can't match it.
Right,
You can't
but
measure up to me, but
right,
an
and
internal good sense about who you actually are, a good assessment, honest, true assessment of your skills, your value, your worth. I think that is extremely valuable. I think it's extremely important to have that good uh, impression of yourself. So yeah, ego. It's a good thing to have a healthy ego. You just don't want to use it to bash other people. You just have that good feeling about yourself, and that's confidence. That's confidence, a quiet confidence. That's good.
so going that too far and bragging about it and
Oh,
putting
right.
other people down, because that's
Yeah.
going into the negative,
Yeah. Right.
and that's then not nurturing. And maybe should think
Yeah.
of self-love is nurturing
I like
yourself,
that.
and nurturing other people even,
Good
but
word,
nurturing
Shelby.
them
Good
in a
word.
good way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and not putting them down.
And if
But
you feel confident about yourself, you can spend a few moments to lift someone else up and offer them honest compliments, and honest feedback and good
mhm,
encouragement as well. I think
mhm.
that's also part of the loving relationship, the mutual being beneficial to one another together.
Right, right. And it's important for us to let our friends know sometimes a compliment,
Sure,
that
sure.
you're important to me because
Yeah. Mhm.
you help me to think positive, or you are,
Nice.
hey, you have good ideas. Share them
Wonderful.
often,
Yeah.
kind of encouraging things there.
You help
Okay,
me understand. I like it when you share your opinion. I appreciate what you have to say. Yeah.
right,
Mm.
right.
I'm saying that to you, and that's also part of a Shelby.
You,
I'm saying that to you, but it's also a part of what we're talking about. Encourage
yes,
a friend uh,
right,
in a positive relationship. Mhm.
right. So getting back to my list here is being self-love is being assertive,
Okay.
not letting others take advantage of you or abuse you.
Exactly.
That is very good for those whose better half or whatever is a narcissistic person. And
Oh, right,
if
right, right,
right,
Mhm.
if they are abusing you, then you need to do something about that relationship, don't you? I mean,
I would think so, to protect yourself.
right,
You know, to
right.
remain in a relationship that is essentially damaging to yourself. Well,
Hmm.
that is a violation of that first part of it. You know, to love your neighbor is as you love yourself. If you're not loving yourself enough to protect yourself from someone's continual attacks, you're allowing damage to happen to yourself, and it is a very unhealthy relationship to be in. And my
And
advice is you need to get out. I don't think you can change a narcissistic person. I don't think you can cure. I don't think you can give them advice. If only you would just be nicer. If only you wouldn't say such mean things. You know, you would be a better person. And that the narcissist already thinks he's the best, and that's why he has such a low opinion of you, because you're beneath him. And I'm using him as the pronoun, but women, I believe, also can be narcissistic. But nevertheless, to be in a narcissistic relationship is damaging to the one who is hopefully healthier and not the narcissist.
so asking for help is
Very,
one,
very important. You might need real
where
help
would a
to
person
get out of
go?
that. Sorry.
Where would a person go to ask for help to get out of that situation? Have you got any ideas on that?
Well, it depends on the severity of the relationship. If there's physical abuse involved, then you're probably going to need the authorities to help you break out of that relationship. And you're probably going to have to find someone that will help you to hold the line that I said I'm going to leave, and I'm not going to allow you to talk me back into moving back in with you. I'm not going to allow you to guilt me into returning. You may need professional help. You may need legal help. You may need the authority of law enforcement to help. Depends on how severe the situation is. If there's physical violence involved, you start with the legal help and the authority of the police officers and that sort of thing. Go to the courts. You get a lawyer. Do all those legal things to protect yourself, and then also you need to find someone who will help you to heal your hurt inner being, because certainly living with a narcissist is very damaging to your self-image. And so you have to begin to rebuild. So there's a lot of steps involved. Maybe you're not already in a physically abusive relationship, but if you recognize that you are being mentally abused or isolated in any way, maybe they haven't proceeded to any physical abuse, but maybe they're isolating you from your friends or your family, or dictating that you can't go anywhere unless they take you, or limiting your freedoms and that sort of thing. You're already in an abusive relationship, even if this person has never raised a hand to you. So it just depends on the quality, what's happening in that relationship if you're trapped in a relationship with a narcissistic personality.
You know, when I see a movie in these situations, and the person tells the other person, "Well, I'm leaving you," or I think, that's not the way to go. If you tell them you're going to leave them, they are going to try to prevent you from leaving them, and
Right,
it
right.
get very dangerous. So
Could
it's
be.
better to make the plan in your head and then carry it through and
Right,
get help,
right.
right? Rather than tell them what you're going to
I would
do.
think in it, especially if you're in an extreme controlled environment and that sort of thing, you may very well have to uh, figure out privately within yourself, or maybe with a single trusted friend, what your
Mhm.
plans might be, or to help devise a way to escape. But you'll have to keep those plans to yourself. You'll have to keep them secret from this abusive
Right,
partner,
right.
so that when you finally the day arrives when you have the resources and the moment that you are able to make your escape, you have taken your abusive partner completely by surprise. But if you say, hey, you do that again, I'm going to leave you, they're going to start working to make sure that they're going to prevent you from leaving no matter what.
So
I agree with you.
Very important to plan what, know yourself and your strengths, and get where you can. You've got to think about your own needs and your own feelings too, in those particular cases. So going on, you got to ask for help. Evaluate your feelings, make healthy choices most of the time. And values, setting your boundaries, and so that you know when they are being
setting healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries.
Right.
Exactly. Excuse me a second.
And in my book, Learning to Dance in the Rain, the second part is about learning to set those boundaries, finding out what is important to you compared to the things that, okay, I don't care so much about that, but I really care about my feelings and people putting me down, and I really need to do something about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so you can hold yourself accountable. Is that what?
Well, yeah, if you make a promise to yourself, by the end of the year, I'll be free from this relationship, just to give yourself some distant goal and that sort of thing. But by the time you get to December, you're going to have to ask yourself, did I keep my promise? Have I taken that step? Have I achieved that goal? Or do I have to change the goal from something that seems so far off, 6, 7, 8 months down the road? Maybe by then I'll be gone from this, but set a goal that's more immediate. By the end of this month, I'll be out of here. And now I'm going to have to take these steps to make sure I'm ready to go.
That's
Hold
right.
yourself accountable. Yeah.
Well, I know this relationship is not good for me, and I need to do something about it. And I need to do it soon.
It's soon.
Right. So one of the things, on self-love is self-care, taking care of yourself.
Oh, good.
And valuing your own needs and doing something about it. And I read 33 ways of how to practice self-love. And one of them was to plan your escape. And it talked about we need a time for ourselves, whether it be a half an hour, maybe going into the bathroom and locking the door and just sitting and reading or meditating. You got to have some time just for yourself. I also wondered, what about a weekend by yourself sometime? Or an overnight stay in a hotel by yourself. Just give yourself some freedom, some time to think about things, and so on.
Can I give you a personal example? Just last week, I went up north here in Michigan to the Traverse City area for our church's annual conference for all the churches in the state of Michigan. And I was feeling kind of guilty there for a while because, well, what did I accomplish here, and how did I participate in this annual conference? But as I had very limited time up there, and my grandson graduating, I had to hurry home a day early. And I thought, boy, this is wasted. But then I thought, but you had some quiet time by yourself. You had a chance to eat a meal on your own, and you didn't have to wake up early in the morning every day. And I thought, it really is kind of a getaway. Sure, it's aggravating to have to sit through meetings and that sort of thing, but it's nice to reconnect with old friends as well. So there's pluses all around. I thought it was quite limited what I was able to accomplish at annual conference. But for me, myself, it was kind of nice to have that time. I'm an introvert. And so having time to be alone by myself that's my renewal time. And I'm thinking whether or not I'm doing an awful lot of accomplishment at annual conference, for me, that time away is a renewal time. So it's good. It's good.
What, for me, for example, of course, now I'm alone a lot of the time because I live alone, but I've often thought, gee, it would be nice for just to go away somewhere, like a retreat.
Right, exactly.
Or a conference or something. How would I find out places that might be something that I would want to do, like a camp or?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question. I've done retreats at both Episcopal retreat centers and Catholic retreat centers. Each of them have their own different approach to welcoming folks who want to be on a personal time of retreat. The last time I went on a retreat, it was to the Episcopal retreat center that's just about 20 miles from here, just west of this area. And it's a community of prayer. And while I was there on retreat, I was expected to join in with them in their prayer times every day. As a guest, they only asked me to attend 2 different hours of the day, in the morning and mid-afternoon. 3, and also the evening times. And once a day we took communion. So that was kind of a more structured retreat time. The Catholic retreat centers I've been to, basically, you go and they provide you the food you need and that sort of thing. But basically, you're on your own as far as the activities you want to be involved in. Prayer and devotional time, if you need that, or just time to read, time to relax, time to rest, without any kind of set program. So my approach has been to find the retreat centers that really meet my need. And they are there. And but there may be other people in your denomination or in your church who know wonderful campgrounds to go to, a cabin that's available for rental on a daily or weekly basis, which is out in the woods or on a hillside or something like that, or on the beach, and a setting that's going to be especially relaxing for you. So I think with a little research, you can find the place that really fits your need.
Probably on the internet, Google.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I just typed in retreat centers near me, and there's actually 3 that are in the same area of our county, just west of here. 3 altogether.
Oh.
I was surprised. And within about 2 or 3 miles of each other. I thought, wow, why are all these retreat centers all over here? But there they are.
I never thought about that, but
there they are.
Yeah. Good point there. Spending time in nature, that's kind of what we're talking about. If it's a campground or whatever, that therapeutic and alone or with someone. But here was a cute one: adopt a pet.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
I have a couple cats I'll let you adopt.
Well,
they're the ones that are getting me up early in the morning. They want their breakfast. They want their breakfast now.
We always had dogs, and until about 10 years ago, and then we were traveling. And I said, no, I don't want to travel with them. And my kids said, I thought I'd get a security alarm for my house when I moved here into Sturgis, because I had one in Tennessee. But the kid says, well, we'll just get you a dog. I said, don't you dare. I don't want to have to worry about where it's going.
Right.
And I've never really been very fond of cats, but my friend Rick has 2 cats, and we're kind of forming a little friendship. In fact, at Meyer last night, I saw this huge carrot that's about a foot long, bright orange. If you can think of a bright orange carrot with a green fluffy thing on the top. And I thought, oh, that's just perfect because Chloe likes to palm my hand, grab my hand, and kind of nip on it. And I thought she could grab a hold of that better.
Better, yeah.
And wouldn't get scratched. So I'm kind of forming a bond finally with these cats, but it's been a long road to hoe here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's helpful because you take them a minute or two to fluff it up and talk to it.
Right.
It is kind of a moment of.
Or they choose to crawl on your lap when you're having quiet time, you're reading, or just watching TV. It's kind of nice to have that other living being that wants to cuddle,
Yeah.
That's a nice thing
somebody
too.
Like no matter.
I have
no
to
matter what. Yeah.
I withdraw my offer for someone to adopt my cats. My wife would shoot me.
Well, another one was some of us have an inability to say no when we're asked to do something, and I was guilty of that too. I would most always say yes, but you know what? It does help to learn how to say no. Sorry, but my schedule is full and I just can't add another thing.
Add more.
Right. So that's, I think, part of setting your boundaries, to know just where that boundary is. Reading a book. Yeah. I haven't had much time lately to sit out on my patio and just read. And I'm thinking, I've got to do that because
I'll bet you're missing that. I'll bet you're missing that. Yeah.
I'm just in my office a lot, typing and marketing and so on, and planning everything. And I'm just so sick and tired of being inside.
You need some Shelby. You need some me time. you need some you time.
And I always thought of taking a walk as exercise, but this one said take a walk because just being outdoors is a renewal. And is a break for yourself. And I thought, well, maybe that'll get me out there walking.
Not exactly a drudgery, not exactly just heavy, hard work, but some pleasure involved in the movement and the sights and the things that you encounter, people you might meet. Sure.
Another one is remind yourself of your self-worth.
There you go.
A lot of times we'll say, oh, gee, look in the mirror and say, oh my, I got to reduce that belly. What, and there for a while, I got so tied up in my books and writing and so on that I forgot some of the things that I had achieved in my past. And my daughter said, well, Mom, and she started listing all these things that she remembered that I had helped her do. And I thought, oh, yeah, I did do all those things. Oh, yeah. So maybe it helps to talk to somebody that we know that knows us, that can help us.
A reminder. You have accomplished good things.
Right. Make time for the little things. Take your walk. Another thing I found, clutter.
Boy.
Yeah, that is very stressful to me.
It's a good thing this camera is pointed this way, away from my desk.
Me too.
If I need a different perspective, I could take my laptop and put it up higher on the mess. But I'm afraid it would fall off onto the floor. Clutter. All right, we're not talking about clutter, are we? Oh no.
Yeah. I could say the same exact words that you just got through saying. I've got a stack of papers. I like to read from a printed document, not from my computer. So I print a lot of things. So I have a lot of paper. And my son and Brett, well, you just need to save it on your computer and then you can read it. I said, yeah, but when I see something on my table, oh yeah, then I want to read it. But for some reason, I don't have that same addiction to
You don't
something.
have the attachment to what's on your screen. And it might
Right.
be presenting for you a bit of an eye strain where your screen, the level your screen is, and the focus you're having in your eyeglasses.
Yeah,
I need my bifocals. I need my bifocals to read on the screen. So a lot of times I'm reading like this. I got to raise my head up. So I'm looking through my nearsighted bifocals to be able to read it. Well, how long can I do that with my head like that? I get wore out.
Yes.
You know, if I'm holding a paper, I just raise it up a little higher.
Right. Yeah.
I think there is additional eye strain reading things on the screen all the time. I agree with you. I agree with you.
So there's quite a few more, but not sure that I want to go. I guess we're kind of out of time. 45 minutes looks like. There was a question early on about the unrequited love. I can't remember exactly what it said,
Okay.
but can you find it right quick? Yeah. How does one fall in love with someone who doesn't love them back? And is that a healthy love? Well, I'll start with that last one. It definitely is not healthy to
No.
Concentrate on loving somebody that doesn't love you back.
Right. Well, initially, you have no idea if it's going to develop into a mutual loving relationship. You find yourself attracted, and you're trying to put yourself out there to offer yourself and your affections to this other person, and hopefully they will respond in a mutual way. But at first, you have no idea if it's going to be a mutual response or if it's going to be an unrequited love situation. You might have your heart broken if they are not interested, and probably you will have your heart broken if they're not interested. Nevertheless, well, you tried, but now it's time to move on. Let it go. Let it go. If they've made it clear.
Audience, I thank you for being with us today for this conversation, and I hope that you'll be back next week when I will be. I forgot who I'll be talking with, but in the meantime, I hope you buy your copy of Scams and Learning to Dance in the Rain from Amazon.com. Bye. I will see you next week. Keep learning to dance, whether it's in the rain or not.